As if the impact of the pandemic, Brexit, rising raw material costs, and the Suez Canal weren't enough to endure in 2021, this week there's even more salt to add to the wound of Amazon FBA sellers and business owners, as China is now going through a visible energy crisis that looks set to impact global supply chains, causing delays and possibly increasing prices even more. Brilliant. So this week there have been numerous stories about how homes across China have been left without power and how numerous factories have had to halt production because of a national power shortage caused by a lack of coal and a tougher stance from the government on emission standards, with the lack of coal being the biggest factor caused because of the huge boost in demand for factory-made products as a result in the absolute boom in online shopping since the end of lockdowns. Now, this power shortage has already led to some factories across China being ordered to halt production completely, with others expected that they'll be asked to ration their power consumption, which means cutting production. So I spoke with my supplier this morning who said that it was likely that they're going to have to reduce their factory's opening hours to 3 days a week instead of 6. And that's expected to happen in the coming months, which is going to mean one thing: longer manufacturing times and more than likely increased prices. Boo. Whilst the full impact of these rationing measures won't be felt by us for probably another 2 or 3 months, it's important that everyone prepares and understands the implications now, as they're going to pretty much impact every single business out there, or any business that has relations with China, which includes big companies like Apple, who may have to reduce their iPhone supplies. But most importantly, what about us Amazon FBA sellers? Well, if you source your goods from outside of China, then obviously you're going to be okay. But if you don't, then you may want to have a chat with your supplier to find out the impact of these power cuts. Some manufacturers won't actually be impacted by the energy rationing because they're not big enough, whereas others may have to take precautions or take actions immediately. So that means reducing the amount of time that their factories are open. So it's worth asking your suppliers of the lasting impact as soon as you can. I've already had a few students email me this morning with screenshots of conversations that they've had with their suppliers, where they're basically being asked to place orders as soon as possible without delay. Now, for the more cynical of you watching, you might think that this is just an attempt to win an order, but in my opinion, the concern from suppliers about these power rationing measures is actually legit, and I think ordering sooner rather than later could be the best route forward. You're going to avoid the usual bottleneck that happens because we're going into the fourth quarter of the year where we have Christmas. You're going to avoid the bottleneck because of Chinese New Year, which is January, February, and you'll hopefully miss the bottleneck caused by these new power rationing measures. So my advice after watching this video is for you to check with your supplier whether they're going to be impacted by these measures, and if so, in what way, and then try to get a good understanding of the best ways to mitigate the impact of these power shortages, which are expected to last until the end of the year. Now, whether that be by placing an order slightly earlier than you might expect, or by placing a bigger order than you'd originally planned, that's something that you're going to need to give some consideration to. Now, of course, you don't have to source goods from China. I've got plenty of students that source from India, Pakistan, and Vietnam, amongst others. So if you're still doing your product research, you should absolutely consider these other countries too, which may even provide you with an advantage over competitors who still get their goods from China. So guys, let me know what you think to the latest treat that 2021 has to offer. Let me know in the comment section how you think it's going to impact you and your business, and maybe even think of a positive spin. I always try and be positive and look for an opportunity as best I can. And I was racking my brains and thought, I guess maybe some competitors might be put off by the shipping delays and now this, so they may quit. So that's one way of looking at it. But I do actually think that, generally speaking, it's just another bump in the road for an entrepreneur. It's something that impacts all business owners around the globe. So it's another situation where we're all in the same boat. If costs rise, then it impacts everyone, and it means that prices are going to have to rise as well. So it looks like it's going to be the end consumer that actually suffers the most from this because of increasing prices. but we will see. Let me know what you think to this story in the comments. That is it for this week, guys. I will see you next time.